record in 584068. Appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Romeo Perez, partner of 8223 on behalf of the plaintiff. She is present.
Thank you.
And I'm Veronica Valentine, bar number 1634 for the defendant who's also present.
Thank you. We are here today for case management conference. Just housekeeping to this point in time. Has your client, Ms. Valentine, filed a financial disclosure form that you're aware of?
That's what Romeo was saying, but I believe I did. 1 second.
Do you have a date? Because I
Wait,
in my
I'm
review, I
looking.
didn't see it. I know he filed one yesterday.
Right.
I thought we did. Am I dreaming? Is that what it is?
When? How did I miss that?
Maybe, yeah.
No,
well,
my court clerk's telling me that you filed it on
Yes.
April 18th.
on 4/18.
Okay. All right, then.
Oh, I missed it too then. I apologize.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm seeing it here. But if you got it filed, then great. I also see that defendant filed motions that are currently set for June 6th. So we will note that. But we're here for a case management conference. I presume we're not settled since motion were filed.
Right.
So
right.
I need to get your trial set.
And I have one item I'd like to discuss today.
Okay. I'm currently setting into September. Is that going to give you guys enough time to be ready?
That should be fine.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll set your trial for.
It's going to be September 10th, Council. That's at 1:30 on a stat calendar. Your calendar call will be August 27th at 11.
Certainly, I'll get you your case management order before
And-
we're done here.
And it's stacked, so it's not for sure the
You'll
date,
go
right?
that week. You'll either go Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of that week.
Okay, can I look at my calendar?
Of course.
So trial 9/10 at what time?
1:30.
9/10. I have immigration court at 9, 2 cases actually. On the 10th you said? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
At
so
1:30.
sorry. I'm free.
How many are we setting for that setting? Wait, two. There's just two for that.
Yes.
Okay.
But-
This is the second one.
Okay. All right. You had a question for me, Ms. Mallon?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. There was a TPO, which is signed to you as well in the case. And the TPO ordered that my client can go in the house with Metro and get his stuff.
Okay.
He was not able to do that, and here's what my understanding what happened. He went on March 19, I believe. He parked more than 100 yards, had called Metro, was never out of his car, was waiting for Metro to come. The plaintiff saw him and jumped in her car and tried to ram his car with her car.
And she missed?
Well, he's here.
No, did she
don't know.
hit the car?
She was arrested. They
Who was
both were
arrested?
arrested. Both were arrested.
Did she damage the car? Okay, so she didn't try and ram him with the
Okay.
car. It's kind of hard to miss a
Okay,
car.
I'm so sorry, but
It's okay.
she was arrested. I'm not sure what crime she's charged with.
Okay.
So they're both arrested. I don't think they want to talk to you right now because it's a pending criminal case.
Sure.
But the reason I'm bringing it up is because he was not able to go. Now, there was also
But that order's still in effect, right?
yes,
Okay.
with the former attorney that my client had, there was an arrangement made with Romeo to go to a storage where plaintiff claimed she put her stuff in the storage. So the defendant went with a employee of his former attorney, Mr. Rhodes, one of his employees, as a witness. And they went to the storage and they videoed what was in there, and all that was there was junk. So he knows that he's hoping that his stuff is still in the house. So we want an order based on the PPO order, which is not a new matter, it's a standing order that has never been executed, for your honor to arrange for us him going to the house. Both attorneys are here, let's work on it, let's get it done, so he can see and get clothes that he needs for work, and many, many, many other things.
So So let me make sure that I understand what you're asking me to enter the same order that the TPO court entered?
Well, more like supervise it, because at this time,
Who do you want to supervise it?
well, we can agree on a time,
Yeah?
you know, because the TPO is quick.
Yeah.
The judges don't
And
really
Mr.
manage
Perez,
the case.
If you have a hard time having Mr. Perez agree to these kinds of things, because he
He
doesn't strike me
didn't
as.
yesterday. He called me yesterday and he said, "Can we move the CMC to the date of the motion?"
Sure.
And I said, "If we can stipulate so my client can get into the house, he needs his clothes and stuff." Mr. Perez's office said no,
Okay.
so he didn't agree.
Okay.
So
I'd just like to reply.
Sure.
Judge, so in the beginning of the case, I know that Ms. Valentine wasn't involved early, Judge, but I had extensive conversations and email proof of my discussions with Mr. Rhodes, wherein my client, I let him know that my client was, because of the TPO, and because in their house, they have automated thermostat, they had an alarm system, both under his names. He was messing around with the thermostat and the temperature in the house. He was turning the alarms off. My client had to go out and get her own alarm system. She had to change out the thermostat, and which were all violations of the TPO, which are being investigated. So my client decided, I'm gonna just take all his stuff, box it up for him, and put it in the garage at first. And then these other incidences were occurring where he was coming around the house, the neighbors were calling. She says, I'm gonna put your stuff in the storage room. I let counsel know right away. My client is preserving all of the items, you know, as required. He can go to the storage room. My understanding is he did come by my office, pick up a key and the access codes to the storage unit. My client had moved a bunch of things to the storage unit, and at some point, Mr. Rhodes asked me to stop sending things to the storage unit and holding them at the house. So my client did stop. We're not necessarily saying that it's an exhaustive amount of his stuff in the storage unit. However, there are emails that I've reviewed that said, give me a list of the things that he wants. Give me a list of the things that are missing. There is jewelry, which my client has put in a safety deposit box for him, taking it out of the house because she's afraid their neighbors are reporting there are people in the alley. Police have come to her house in the middle of the night saying, hey, we're getting calls from your neighbors saying that there's somebody around. Are you okay? You know, so my client has responsibly moved this expensive jewelry, or his jewelry, to a safety deposit box, which he's paid for. She's safeguarding all the other stuff at the house, which, you know, we're happy to provide into that storage unit, but we were told to stop. Judge, there are even gonna be some things that the parties don't agree are just his. So we've stopped. He has all his clothes. He has everything he needs to live on.
When did he get his clothes?
When he was given access to the storage unit with all of it, he was given 130 boxes. We've also provided all of the billing, or much of the billing, to Mr. Rhodes, and I can certainly send that over to Ms. Valentine.
Sure.
Of what she has had to pay to have people help her box and tape and move.
So what's he lacking, Miss Valentine? What clothes is he lacking?
he's,
All my expensive stuff.
can he tell you, Your Honor, put him under oath and he'll tell you, I think that
What's he lacking?
I've
All
always.
This is not a
his
hard
good-
question.
his good clothes are
So-
not there
Where were they?
in the house, under the,
In the house, in my closet area.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
the
you
junky
didn't
stuff
box
is in
up
the-
My accessories, my
closet area?
bags, my
his,
jewelry.
his sunglasses,
Yeah.
his bags, he has really expensive stuff. I have photos of every single piece of jewelry and everything. He's a classic guy. He likes to buy expensive stuff and he doesn't have it. It's not in the storage. He went to the storage and he has a witness. It's videoed. His good stuff. So we need to go. We really need to go back to the house. And
When would you like to do that?
okay, let's agree.
Judge,
I mean,
there's a TPO in place. He has been, when he was allowed back in the
why
house,
is he
he
resisting?
was messing around with the thermostat.
There'll be
and the
Metro.
alarm.
No,
He
this
should
is-
not
We'll
be
have
allowed back in the
Metro.
house.
This is why I asked Miss Valentine earlier, what the question is, do you want me to reissue the order allowing him to take Metro to the
Yes.
house to pick up his stuff?
That, yes.
And I'm confused as to why I need to reissue an order that's already been issued.
Because
Which-
you are managing the case as the domestic judge,
And
you are managing the case.
what does that have to
The
do with the
TPO
fact
judge,
that there's?
because we need to agree on a time.
We
No,
tried
you
to
don't.
go there
You
with the
need-
police,
no.
and she didn't let us in.
Judge, my client represents that there are no clothes of his left in the house.
Well, he needs
Where
to
are they?
see. He
Where are
needs
they?
They were all put in the
It's his
storage
home
unit.
as
Okay.
well.
That's not true.
And she has witnesses who helped her pack up
That's
all the
not
bags,
true.
all the boxes.
Look,
It's not true.
Look, here's the deal. You guys don't have kids. I don't know if you've got money to afford paying attorneys to argue about stuff, but I'm here to hear it. I've set you a trial. It's not this difficult. It's really not to get to this point in time. There's a TPO in place. You shouldn't be having any contact with each other. You don't get to continue to run each other's lives. But there's an order in place that says he gets to take Metro to the house and pick up his personal items. That order's still valid. There's a district court judge's signature on that order. You don't need another order from me to get to that point. If for some reason Metro looks at the order and says, you know what, Ms. Valentine, this is not good enough, call my department, I'll issue another order. But there's no reason for there to be two orders with the same information on it hanging out.
She didn't
Just,
have it,
there's no
yeah.
reason for it.
She
No,
didn't
no,
have
what I wanted from you, Your Honor, is for us, all adults in the room, to agree on a day and time
I
that it
can't-
will be accomplished.
I can't give you a day and time when Metro's going to be available. I can't. I don't tell them what to do. They tell me that all the
I tried
time.
to go with Metro, and she said no.
Oh, he said that he had Metro with him one time,
Yeah, that was 10 days ago, 15 days ago,
and she said no.
refused.
So they were with you?
She doesn't get to
Yes.
say no if he's got an order in his hand.
Okay, so I think it's clarified
Metro
now.
said it was a civil case, and then I wasn't allowed to the house with Metro. And that's what the pink paper is. that I gave you.
We have that.
That wasn't that date.
Yes, I don't know if I
So,
took a copy,
try.
yeah. There was an event number where he tried with Metro and she refused.
Second time.
Yes. Now something,
Well, the order doesn't seem to have, at least the March 8th order doesn't have any reference that he's going to be able to go pick up his stuff, at least that I can see.
Yeah, we have the pink
It does have my signature on it.
Here it is.
here, it's page 2, Your Honor.
Of which order?
It's filed on January 23rd, page 2 of it.
Okay. Because
And-
I'm looking at the March 8th.
Page 2, item 2.
All right, there was an order issued subsequent to that, which is probably what law enforcement was doing. One occasion only, to go to that address, clothing, toiletries, and that's it.
But he wasn't able to get in, that's
She
the
didn't let us
problem.
in.
Right.
And I have here, Your Honor, the pink card that Metro gives people, and it says, they gave it to him on April 9th. It said, stated he wanted to get his belongings, made contact with wife to talk to her, and she said he has no something and he is not allowed there. It's the cop
The pink copy.
writing. So she did not allow. So we need to make sure she allows. That's all. I mean, it sounds like kindergarten, but it is. We need to tell her to allow.
Mr. Gross, does your client understand she has to allow the order to be fulfilled?
She certainly will, Judge, but we tried to avoid that issue by moving all of this stuff out
No.
to the storage unit.
I understand. I understand that.
Without my
She
permission.
tells you that there's
Without
no
Wait.
clothes in there. I've asked for a list from
Well,
prior
I'm-
counsel, I asked for a list.
I won't be surprised if we have a trial over whether he gets his clothes or not, given the way that this case has moved to this point in time.
One
No,
more
but-
thing, Your
But
Honor.
I'm certainly not gonna go supervise and make sure this happens. There's an order in place that allows it to happen. I'm,
So the attorneys will coordinate and will accomplish, right?
I would hope so.
Okay, number 2, I just heard from Mr. Romeo that expensive jewelry has been moved into a safety deposit box.
I went.
My client was not aware. He was always extremely worried about his jewelry, extremely worried. I wanted to, maybe we can all meet at the bank and she can,
You guys can
Open
do
the
whatever
box.
you want if you agree to it. None of this is before me today. So my hope
well, I
is,
just heard that it is in the box. It's not even
Great.
in my motion. I can do a supplemental request,
Well,
but
Judge,
my,
a lot of this was discussed with Mr. Rhodes. I understand she's been on for about a week. We hadn't had a discussion, even yesterday, I only heard from her.
like I said, it's not before me. Certainly, it's something that's within my jurisdiction to deal with. It's always cheaper for you guys to figure this out than to pay your attorneys to make these kinds of arguments. But it's your money, it's your community. You can do what you want with it. So the
It's
hope
very
is that
expensive jewelry.
great. It's probably a community asset too that'll need to be divided. So please work together and see what you can come up with. But that issue.
no, these are things that he purchased when he used to work for a major jeweler in Brazil.
Why do I care when he purchased
Before
it?
he met her. It's all his stuff.
Great. That's an argument that's not before me today.
Okay, I will do an amendment to my motion to include the safety deposit box. No problem.
I would have a conversation with Mr. Perez first. But
Yes,
I would ask that we comply with the EDCR to make sure we conform.
perfect.
Thank you, Judge.
Good luck.
Have a good day. We just need a 5-minute head start to do the T-zone. Is that all right?
Yes, we'll make sure that happens.